Good morning and welcome to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment, the first 3 times weekly live show here on YouTube about all things photography, video, live streaming related, with a huge emphasis today on the live streaming. So if you've never been here before, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, PhotoJoseph.com/YouTube or YouTube.com/PhotoJoseph. Ironically, they both take you to the same place. We have no pre-show today because the countdown clock timer thing is, I left it at home. So we're just going to kind of get right into it. We are going to wait a few moments to let people filter in, but we are going to get into the meat of the show pretty quickly. This is, and I'll repeat all this in a little bit more detail, but this is a show within a show within a show. This show's insane. I can't promise this is going to go off without a hitch. In fact, I can probably promise we're going to have some pretty serious mess-ups here today, just because it's so insanely complicated, but that's okay. That's half the fun. So let's just see who's here in the chat room this morning. As always, if you are in the chat room, make sure you put @PhotoJoseph in front of your question or comment. We'll have a little chit chat here. Daddy MCC was already asking, are you in the right place? Yes, you are in the right feed. All the other feeds have comments disabled, chat disabled, at least they should. So that's part of the way you know that you're in the wrong place. And Ryan's double checked in. He says it's all disabled. So hopefully that will be one of the indicators. Also, there's a little link on all of them that say, don't start there, go to this one, and that's this video. Greetings, Mattman. Greetings, Donovan. Excellent to have all you in here today, as always. We're going to give people a moment here to come on in. I'm going to do kind of a pre-ad stuff while we're waiting for people to filter into the show, just because, why not? First up, this is kind of fun. So remember I did the whole thing about the Bose headphones with upside travel? That thing expired at the end of November. They sent me an email at the end of November, said, hey, we want to extend it for another month. So we get to do this all the way through to December. So that's this thing here, free Bose headphones. Go to upside.com to book your travel and use the discount code BOSE-PHOTOJoseph, and you get some free Bose headphones. Or use the code just PhotoJoseph, no Bose, and you get a $100 gift card instead. So kind of whichever one you would rather have. $200 headphones or $100 gift card, up to you. So that's super cool. I'll do another video on that later, but that is still available. We're going to talk a little bit about the B&H thing just because it is kind of integral to what we're doing today, so I'll mention that later. But if you are in the New York area, on December 7th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., I'll be doing a little meetup after my B&H thing. If you go to photojoseph.com/NYC, that'll redirect you there. And then shortly after that, 2 days after that, I'll be in Indianapolis at Robert's Camera, and following that up with a little get-together that evening, December 9th. That's a Saturday from 5 to 7 p.m. So if you are in the area, that is going to be a fun little thing to just come and check out and hang out with, and yay. And of course, that is later this, my God, that's this week. Today's Monday. This is the week. This is the week of craziness. So let's get this started, shall we? Wayne William, hello from Nova Scotia, back at you there, and Hans, greetings to the Netherlands. Fantastic. Jake, good morning to you. Oh, and Marco in Frankfurt. Love it. Okay. Let's do this thing. Here's the plan. This show is so big, I have slides. How's that sound? How is that for you? Here we go. Let's do this, and let's start the show properly. Here's what we're doing. Yeah, should we do a proper, let's just do another just in case people want to, yeah, we'll do that thing. Let's do this. Good morning and welcome. You probably already saw the intro. We just did that intro, so you had something to jump to. If you missed the real intro, scroll back, you'll see it. Anyway, let's just get this thing started, shall we? Because this is going to be kind of a ridiculous show. Here's the plan. Here's the show. First of all, this is an Inception show. And what I mean by that is it's a show within a show. We have currently 5 sub-shows set up. I'm going to be launching each one of those shows within this show using different streaming devices. So the whole purpose of today's show is to talk about the different options that we have for live streaming. Now, I've been obviously doing this for a little while and have certainly had a lot of experience with a lot of different solutions and technologies, ranging the gamut from really inexpensive, basically free because you probably already have a smartphone, up to pretty expensive. And we're going to talk about most of those options today. Now, as we go through it, I'm going to guide you along and give you instructions on how to get into each show and so on. So don't worry if you're like, oh, wait, I have no idea what to do. I will guide you along the way. Okay, first point of data, you really need to do this either on a desktop, laptop, whatever, but a desktop, laptop machine, or have multiple mobile devices. You're not going to be able to watch multiple streams simultaneously on a single phone or tablet. So if you're able to you're going to want to watch this on a desktop machine or at least have multiple devices in front of you. So that's the first thing. So if you're not there now, just pause. Well, you can't if you're watching live, but if you're not watching live, pause and go get on a different system. Okay, the links to the sub shows, the Inception shows, they're all here. Did I put the arrow in the right direction? I did. They're all here and they're already there. If you're watching live, they're there. You can open them up in different windows now if you want to, or just open them as we get to them. That's up to you. But the shows are all already created there. And of course, if you're not watching live, that is where they'll be as well. Here's how the whole synchronizing thing is going to work. If you're watching live, you can't do this, but hopefully if you're watching live, it's going to be reasonably in sync. If you are not watching live, which is obviously going to be the majority of you, here's how this will work. The whole objective here is this show, the one you're watching right now, is the mother show, if you will. This is the overarching, the big show. All the other shows are sub shows. So I will be streaming, for example, off of my iPhone as a secondary stream. Ideally, you want to have the two shows in sync because that will allow you to see what's happening in two windows side by side and kind of it'll make more sense. It'll be a lot more fun. Now, you don't have to have it perfectly in sync, but you want to get it pretty close. So here's what's going to happen. As I start each show, so let's say I start the show with the iPhone, I am going to play a video. I have a little video rendered out. This is just a 10-second clock. That's it, just 10-second clock. And I'm going to play that so that you can see it on this show, as well as I'll take this camera, this device, point it at it, and capture it on here as well. So what you'll want to do is on your desktop, remember you've opened two browsers here, is when the clock's playing, you pause both shows. And you scrub the shows so they're within a second of each other. And I'm going to say, get them within a second of each other. Don't get them at the exact same time because YouTube doesn't have a way, at least as far as I know, to hit play on two screens simultaneously. So let's say that you pause this video on second 5, and then you get this one paused at second 4. It's going to be counting up. So you start one, and then a second later you start the other. It gives you time to move the mouse over. Does that make sense? And if you get it wrong, you can always pause and scrub back and get it back. And again, it doesn't have to be exact. Don't worry about getting it frame accurate, but this will allow you to get it close. So there's a little clock timer we're going to run at the beginning of each one that will allow you to get your shows in sync. And again, if you're watching it live, you don't get to do that. Find the mute button. When you open up your videos in YouTube, make sure you know how to mute each video because you're not going to want to hear both things simultaneously, but you may want to go back and forth so that you can decide, so you can listen to different audio options because that's a big part of what we're doing today. We're talking about different audio options, different microphones, and so on, and that's going to be interesting to find out how those hear. So make sure you know where those mute buttons are so you can mute one, unmute the other, and so on. And finally, okay, so today's show is going through all these different options, and I'll show you what all those options are in a moment here. One of the things we're not going to talk about today is this show, what I'm on right now. What I'm on right now is the highest end solution that I've got, obviously, and I am going to do an entirely separate show on this tomorrow. Now, tomorrow's show, I don't normally do a show on Tuesday, but I'm leaving town Wednesday, so tomorrow's show, Tuesday morning show, is going to be an overview of my entire broadcast studio. Now, I've done this before. It was a multi-part, I think it was a 5-part over 5 days show, so it's huge. It's really, really in the nitty-gritty. I can't link to it up here because we've now run out of cards to link to, but we'll link to it down below. So down below, there's a link to that. That's if you want the full-on, big, huge, behind-the-scenes, every little nitty-gritty detail. The Tuesday show is going to be more of an overview, but it's going to be the critical stuff. I get asked all the time how I'm doing the streaming show, and I know that not everybody wants to watch 5 hours of content or whatever the other one was. So we'll do a single show to do that. That's going to be tomorrow, Tuesday. Thursday, I'm at B&H. Okay, now this is important. Thursday, I'm at B&H, and let me get the right graphic up here for this. This is the kind of conclusion of all of this. This is a week of streaming. So Tuesday at B&H, Thursday, I'm sorry, at B&H, December 7th from 4 to 6 p.m., I will be in New York at the B&H store doing a presentation. Now, if you can't be there in person, you can watch it live streaming. If you go to PhotoJoseph.com/BH, that will redirect you to the B&H page, or you can just go to B&H event page and you'll find it there as well. Register for the live streaming event. You can watch it live. They will then post that show afterwards. I don't know how long that takes. It used to take a really long time. I think they're getting it much faster now, but I can't guarantee when that'll be available. So if you really are interested, then do try to tune in to that live. That show is sponsored by Epiphan. Epiphan is my client. They're the ones who are bringing me out there for that. And I am doing a presentation at B&H, primarily on the Webcaster X2 and on the Pearl. So those are the two kind of extremes of hardware streaming, and we'll be going into much more detail on that there. I'm going to talk about both of those today as well, but that's the show for that. So that's your whole week of streaming. Got all that? There's a lot going on, isn't there? Okay, let me get my slides back. Where are we? Next up, last one here on this slide is, if you want to know even more about live streaming, do subscribe to my friends at Live Streaming Pros. Go to facebook.com/livestreamingpros. They've got a YouTube channel, they've got a Facebook channel, everything. That's all they do, right? I touch on streaming every once in a while. This is all that they do. And if you are in the market to set up a really big high-end streaming studio and you want to hire the pros to come in and help you set it up, talk to them. Those guys are awesome, super cool people, friends of mine. Go check them out if you want to go the high end. All right, here's today's show. So there's the primary show. That's this one right now. The primary show is streaming on the Blackmagic ATEM. That's my hardware switching system, and the Pearl-2, which is my hardware encoder that I'm using. Again, I'll talk about those more tomorrow, but that is the highest end system that we would be talking about, and that's what this show is running on. The secondary shows will start with an iPhone. They're all numbered, and if you look at the little, if you click on the little eye up here, you're going to see all these shows already there. The first one is the iPhone, so we're going to start just streaming with the iPhone. The second show is the Mevo. We're going to do a little streaming with the Mevo, and for that we're going to step out into the other studio. Then we're going to go to the Epiphan Webcaster X2. So this is now we're still in the lower end of cost, but stepping up in quality streaming solutions. So we're going to talk about that. And that's the one that I'm going to be talking about quite a bit in detail on Thursday at B&H. So, and none of these we're going to go into like crazy detail on them, but we're going to touch on it. And then number 4 is Wirecast. So now Webcaster X2 and Wirecast are in that kind of mid-range of streaming. The iPhone and the Mevo being the lower range, simpler, less control type of thing. Webcaster and Wirecast are giving you that kind of mid-range level. And then we're going to go to the Teradek VidiU Pro, which is kind of a higher mid-range, and we're going to broadcast from that as well. And of course, I'm going to talk about, for each one of these, what all the different little pieces are that goes into it. So those are the 5 shows that we're doing. And again, this show is being streamed on the Pearl-2. Before we go into each next show, I'm going to try and address the comments. So if you have questions that are coming up, do keep your questions on topic. Make sure you put @PhotoJoseph in front of them. I just realized I have no idea how I'm going to see the comments out there because I left my iPad at home. I guess I'm going to have to do a lot of back and forth today to see my comments on here. But yeah, so that's comments. You got questions. We'll hit the questions before we move on to each next segment. And I think that is that for that. So with that said, yeah, now we're ready to move into the iPhone. So let me hit the questions, see if there's anything on here real quick, and then we're going to start the first part, the first Inception show. And nope, nothing there that I need to address right now. So come back to this. So the iPhone. The iPhone, so this is now number 1. The iPhone allows you to stream either using LTE, because of course your phone has built-in LTE. And I say iPhone, this will work on an Android smartphone as well. Sorry, I shouldn't have written iPhone. I should have written smartphone, but that's what I have. So LTE or Wi-Fi. If you're on Wi-Fi, then you get to stream over Wi-Fi. Cool. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start by streaming with a front-facing camera and the built-in mic. So literally just the phone. That's what we're going to start with. So you're going to see what that looks like and hear what that sounds like. Now, I will point out that we're going to start this in here, and for some reason, the front-facing camera doesn't really like all the light in here. It tends to overblow it a little bit, kind of blow it out a little bit, but y'all know what your front-facing camera looks like. It's more important to hear the sound quality of that. Then we're going to, and really important point, so funny, and I put that on here partially to remind myself. If you start streaming from your iPhone to YouTube and your phone is vertical, it's locked. You go to rotate, it says, orientation locked. You have to physically rotate the form before you hit start streaming. Weird, but true. Okay, wrong. Come back here. Darn it. There we go. Okay. After we do this, the basic quick little with the built-in microphone, we're going to add the iPhone earbuds, because all iPhones come with these, and you can hear what that sounds like. It's going to be a big quality improvement, obviously nowhere near as good as we can get, but that's going to be the next step up. And then we're going to go for the SmartLav Plus, which is my favorite wired microphone. We'll talk about this a little bit more. And of course, using the Apple adapter, we need to have that on there. And then we're going to go wireless with the Samson Go Mic Mobile. And we'll, again, talk about this a little bit once we get to it. So that is the plan. I think that's everything. Yep, that is everything there. So, are you ready? I hope I'm ready. First one, we have 5 of these. Hope this works. Okay, open up the iPhone browser, the iPhone stream if you haven't already. Let's see here. This is my iPhone stream. So look, there's 6 of you waiting there already. I'm going to let's see here. Go here. Why does it say done? There we go. Open this up. There we go. So that's there ready. You can see there it says ready to go. I tap go live. Now I had to, incidentally, it's kind of funny if you're if you've done streaming before, you can set up your stream on the browser, going to youtube.com, and you can set up your stream there. If you want to stream from the iPhone, you can stream now, or you can schedule a stream, but you can't access scheduled streams. You actually have to schedule the stream from the iPhone. It didn't used to be that way, I'm pretty sure, but it is now. Things are always changing over at YouTube, so but if you want to schedule a stream on the iPhone, you have to do it from the iPhone. Go figure. Okay. So back to this. People are waiting. I hit go live, and it should just take me live. Now, Ryan's going to be watching out in the other room. He's going to tell me when I actually am live, so we know that that is actually working. There we go. Look, you can see the camera up there. So let's just point this at me. There's a whole bunch of people already watching that. I guess that number that it gave me before was a big fat lie. So I am just waiting for Ryan to confirm to me that he is seeing live. And sorry, Ryan, what? It has just gone live, Ryan says. Okay, so now you can see what this hears and sounds like, sounds and looks like, but we need to do the countdown timer. So here we go. Let me get this set up here. For those of you not watching live, let's do this. I'm just going to turn the camera around. Sorry for the confusion there. And here we go. So quick little countdown. So again, you are taking advantage of this to synchronize the two windows for those who are not watching live. Just pause both videos, scrub to them so that they are in roughly the right location within a second of each other, and that's it. So for those of you not watching live, you can obviously pause to catch up, and away we go. So now you're hearing what this sounds like. You see what it looks like. I told you it'd be a little bit overblown. That's just kind of the way it always is for whatever reason, but that's what this looks and sounds like. So definitely not great, but you know, you can do it, right? That's all you need. And that's kind of awesome that that's all you need. But let's take it, let's definitely take the quality up a little bit. Let me grab my earbuds here and plug these guys in. Okay, so now that's plugged in. Now the problem with using this is it really kind of means you have to attach this to your ear. And I don't know about you, but these things do not stay in my ear. See, I've got this little extra attachment on here. I brought the wrong screen up over here. Sorry about that. I have this little extra attachment on here because I don't know why my ears just are not shaped for this. So this helps me out tremendously. But if I want to put this in here, now it's on there. And so now you're hearing what it sounds like talking through the Apple microphone. So that is kind of a secondary level of streaming. And remember, at any point here, now we can flip the camera around and you're going to get a better view off that camera, of course, because it's a higher resolution camera, but we're doing a selfie stream here, so we need to be selfied. Okay, let's get rid of this. So that's the first level of that. Now, let's take this guy, which I just realized I have not. Aha, I do have a stand. Let's put the stand here, put that on there. Excellent. This little guy here, you've seen this thing before. I've shown this many, many times, this Rode SmartLav Plus. I absolutely adore this microphone. I think it's very, very good quality. It's $100, so it's not the cheapest mic in the world, but worth every penny. Really, really good quality. The end of this, you have a TRRS port, which means it's designed to go into your smartphone. However, of course, there's no more headphone jack, so you have to use the little adapter that it comes with. So if you're watching the iPhone one, you can see the little adapter there. That's this guy right here. So we need that. We plug that into here, and fortunately that is all that we need. And we can now take this, plug this into here. You can see mine's falling apart there, and we are good to go. So now if I mic this up, there we go. So now we've got a much better audio quality, hopefully. That's, at this point, you should be hearing a significant improvement from where we started with just the built-in open-air mic to this guy, and now to the wired lav here. Again, tremendous microphone. I think the quality is fantastic on this thing, and hopefully you agree. Hopefully this is sounding really good for you. Little top tip, by the way, when you're doing a stream like this, what I see people do all the time, and this is going to get worse when we get out to the bigger systems, they look at themselves instead of looking at the camera. So right now, I'm looking at myself. And when I look at myself on this camera, I am clearly not looking at the audience. The audience is here. So I need to, you gotta do this. You gotta make sure you look at the camera when you're addressing the audience. It's the difference here of talking to this camera here. Let me put this down like this. When I'm talking to the camera here, now sometimes I have to look down at my comments because that's where they are, but when I'm talking to you, I wanna talk to the camera. I don't wanna be looking at something else. That's just bad form. So when you're using the phone, it's really easy to forget that and to look at yourself because you wanna make sure that you're looking good on there. Look at the camera. Okay, that's that one. Now let's go to the SmartLav Plus. Let's get this guy hooked up. So we go ahead and unplug this thing. This guy, I think I'm done with that for today. Smart Left Plus. So this is a product from the company called Samson. I've done some reviews on this before. It's a very, very nice little microphone. The problem with it is that it is a digital wireless, not analog wireless, and that means that these have to be line of sight. They also are subject to interference from other Bluetooth and Wi-Fi devices, but it does sound very good. So as long as you can work past the limitations, i.e. keep this thing line of sight, then you're going to really enjoy this and really be happy with it. The cool thing about the way this is all set up is that it actually attaches to your phone. So let me go ahead and go back to the close-up here. I'm going to take this and like literally it just snaps onto the phone here. I'll kind of lock that into place. There we go. And that is in. And then I can take this, plug it into the right side, and there we go. So now, if you're listening, you're probably on the iPhone, you probably just lost audio. So I need to turn this guy on. I did not do that in advance. And I realize your picture's going upside down and all over the place. Okay, that is on. And now turn on this microphone. And there we go. Now with any luck, plug this guy in. With any luck, you're now hearing me through here. Ryan confirmed for me that you can, once that shows up there, that you are hearing me through this mic. Because that's one of the things, I don't get any feedback. Ryan can. Well, you guys in the audience, you can confirm for me that you are hearing me through this wireless one now on the iPhone. Again, yes on the iPhone mic. Excellent, thank you. So line of sight is a limitation on this, but it does work if you can work within those limitations. So that's great. So you can take this thing, put it on your belt on the front, which is kind of what you have to do. You'd have to put it on the front, but if you're doing a close-up thing like this, like I'm right now, then that's not going to be a problem at all. And you do get this wireless configuration, which is great. And of course, that means also that you can turn this around and go the other way, and you could do an interview of someone. So if you wanted to have an interview like this, now I can't see the picture anymore, but if I was on the other side controlling it, I can have some distance in there, and so on and so on. So this could be it's a really good solution, frankly. The other thing that's nice about this mic is while it is right now configured for the iPhone, it comes with all the different cables. You can hook this up to pretty much anything. So it's a really versatile mic. And as you probably saw here, when we go back to the close-up on this, it is plugged in via the Lightning port, which is quite nice as well. Okay, that is everything we wanted to do here. So I'm going to go ahead and kill the stream off of the iPhone now. I'm just going to close this window. It says, are you sure you want to end? Let's go. You can see what this looks like here. If I go to the overhead view, are you sure you want to end streaming? I hit on end, and that's it. That stream is now done. It tells you how many people watch. This is kind of nice. You get a nice little thing, a little duration, total watch time, average watch time, peak concurrence, and so on and so on. So and then of course it's just for the live show. Now that will be available for anybody to watch afterwards to sync up for everything else. Okay. Whew. First one actually worked. Excellent. All right, questions. If you got questions, comments on this, get them out right now before we move on to the next one. I'm going to get rid of this, get this out of my way. I think I'm done with that for reals. Let's get that out of here and move on. Let's get rid of this as well, actually. Turn this off and turn that off. Okay. Whew. Off to a good start. Nothing too terribly bad happened there. Jay Diggity saying that he thinks that the lights are too bright for the camera to adjust since the camera has a fixed aperture. Yeah, I'm sure that's probably exactly what it is. Okay, let's see here. Jake Guptill is asking, was I streaming Wi-Fi or LTE? Should have been Wi-Fi because my phone is connected to Wi-Fi. So yes, it was on the Wi-Fi. I'm in a bit of a box right here, and my LTE signal gets pretty bad in this room, which is actually why, to do the Mevo next, we're going to go out into the other room. It's still indoors. I still don't get great reception, but it'll be good enough for what we're doing. And there's that. Okay, let's see here. Now let's talk about what we're doing next. If you have questions, again, go ahead and get them up there, and we'll come back to those. So here's what's next, Mevo. Mevo, again, you can do LTE or Wi-Fi. It has its own built-in... Is that right? Does it have its own built-in Wi-Fi, or is it using your phone's Wi-Fi? God, I don't even remember. That's terrible. I totally forgot which is, but you can use the Wi-Fi or LTE. I just remember where the antennas actually are. LTE, it definitely is using the antenna in your phone. If you have the boost, then you can add Ethernet, which is huge because obviously if you're on the wire, if you're on Ethernet, you get much more reliable signal. Marco is saying, oh, okay, here, a couple of questions that come up. Let's jump over to these real quick. Marco says, what's the price of that wireless mic? I think it was $300. Ryan, please confirm that for me. The Samson Go Mic Mobile, I think $300, but we'll double check on that for you. Wayne Williams says, I'm using my GH5 for live streaming. Wonder if you use it and if you're experiencing staggering video at 29.97. Okay, if you're experiencing any staggering in the video or stuttering in the video, that is not going to be in the camera. That's going to be in your streaming solution. So we are going to use the GH5 at the end of this whole thing. Actually, I think 2 different places we use the GH5. Yeah, we're going to use the GH5 with Wirecast and with the VidiU Pro. But any stuttering you're getting is not going to be the camera. That is going to be your streaming hardware or software, whatever you're using. $250 for the Samsung Go Mic Mobile. Ryan is confirming for me. So $250, not $300. Excellent. It really is a good price. Like I said, as long as you can work within its limitations, it's a good price. One of the things that you might run into if you're having issues with streaming with one of these higher-end cameras is that you're overdriving your destination. So Facebook, for example, is notorious for this. If you send to Facebook something that is too high of resolution or too high of a bit rate, Facebook will just completely freak out and shut down on you. You have to keep within its limitations, which for a while it was allowing you to do 1080p, and then it's like they took that away. I don't really understand it, but if you go to their spec pages now, it's like the whole 1080p thing has been erased. It's back to 720p, and I think a max bitrate of 4 megabit if memory serves. But you got to look at the Facebook streaming settings and verify that. Okay. There you go. All right, so let's move on now. So we are looking at the Mevo next. So again, LTE or Wi-Fi natively, or if you add the boost, you get to add Ethernet. We'll take a look at what the boost is in a moment there. We're going to start by just using the Mevo microphone. That's what we're going to listen to first. The Mevo itself has a built-in mic. But because you control the Mevo with your phone, you can connect microphones to your phone. So we'll go to audio on the iPhone. We're not going to actually use the iPhone, the audio on this. We're going to use, see, I knew I wasn't done with this. We're going to use this microphone, which is really cool because you can have your wired mic, a short, nice wired mic, connected to your iPhone, and that is what people are hearing through the Mevo. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so we got that option. Then we're going to add the boost. Now the boost, as I said, will allow you to go Ethernet. We're not going to make that change because that would interrupt the stream, but I'll show it to you. We've got Ethernet on there. And it has a USB port on the boost, which means you can send audio in over USB. Now that's something, we'll talk about that out there as well, but that is something that really opens up options. On the simplest end, you can take a little USB to audio converter and plug in a wired mic. You could plug in a wireless mic, so plug in the receiver from a Samson or the receiver from your Sennheiser pack, whatever you like. Or you could actually plug in a full mixing board. So if you were doing a show, something really high-end, and you wanted to have the best audio quality possible, you could route all of your audio into a mixing board. If you have multiple people in the audience, you want to mix them in or on camera, and then feed that into the Mevo Plus, which is really, really cool as well. And that's that. Okay, so that's on screen now. We are going to head out into the other room. Oh boy, okay, now this is where this gets totally nuts and crazy. I take this, and I take this, and I think that's all I need from this room. Oh, better unplug myself, and let's head out into the other room. Ryan, you are on the other camera. Go ahead and switch over to that, and let's see here. Where's my studio camera preset? Oh, good. Oh, there it is. Whew. There we go. Oh, good, we're out in the studio. Excellent. Take this, and I'm going to need this, and I'm going to need this. All I need is this lamp. All I need is this setup. Ryan, you're on the other camera. All right, everybody, we're coming. Don't worry, it won't be off camera for long. And we're back. Hello, everybody. Oop, okay, Ryan's got to do a little camera adjustment there. Hi, guys. He'll fix that in just a moment. All right, I'm going to take these things out of my ears. All righty. So, got that in place. Looking good. I got my confidence monitor up over here. I'm stoked. This is awesome. What do we do next? Mevo. Okay. Mevo. Oh, probably should have turned this thing on ahead of time. Anyway, here's the Mevo. This is it. This is really, really cool little device. This tiny little thing here is kind of all you need to go live. I love this thing. This is a great device for traveling. If you want to be able to go live from Paisley and I've used this thing to go live from hanging outside an airport before. It's a pretty awesome little setup. So that's my little Mevo. And then you have the boost, which I have over here. So the boost, you'll see I've got this plugged into a, I better get rid of these before I hurt myself here. You see I've got the boost mounted on a light stand. It's so cool the way this thing is designed. You have the same threads on the bottom of the Mevo. If you add the plate to it, here we go, this little plate that comes with it, snap this thing on there, and now you've got threads on the bottom so you can mount it to a regular tripod or to a light stand or even a microphone stand. Really cool. We've done lots of shows on this thing. You can look at those up later. We'll link to all of those down below. So this is the boost. I know you can't get real close, but Ryan, zoom into this real quick just to show it. This is the boost. So the boost has a huge battery. First of all, I don't remember how many times bigger than the internal battery, but it's got a big battery for long streams. It's got an Ethernet port so you can do a hardwire stream. There's the USB port so that you can plug in any kind of external audio. So for example, if I wanted to, where did it go? Oh, excellent. It went walkabout. Well, it was here. Anyway, the little USB audio. And, oh, here it is. It's right here. It's right in front of me. So this, for example, and we're going to do this once we connect to the boost, is I take this, plug it into there, and now I've got, this is just a little $5 or $10, whatever, USB to audio adapter plugged into a wireless receiver, and now I can go full wireless audio on my Mevo. Okay, so let's start, though, with the Mevo itself. So now, and unfortunately, you can't see this, I'm sorry, but just trust me, I am firing up the Mevo app. You can do this, you can kind of sort of see it. Fire up the Mevo app. It is giving me an error I have never seen before. Excellent. Well, that's a good start of things now, isn't it? What does it even mean? It says, look, it can't play. I've never seen this before. What is it? What? Crying out loud. Wow. Okay, let's just try that one more time. Let's just quit that Mevo app. Told you we're going to have issues today. There's no way this is going off without a hitch. All right, now it's firing up. There we go. Okay. Switch on your Mevo. It's already on. There it goes. Set your iPhone's Wi-Fi network to that Mevo. I tap configure iPhone. It takes me over to there. It goes to the Wi-Fi settings. I find that device, which is right there. There we go. Tap on that to connect to it. And let's switch back over to the Mevo and connect. Excellent. So now, there we go. So now I can see me on there. You can kind of, yeah, there we go. You can see that. Superb. Now to start streaming, let's see here. We go to, oh, this is why I'm having these strange issues. No, maybe not. Anyway, okay, here we go. So there's Mevo. I see all the shows that I pre-built on there. Yeah, zoom into that. There you go. These are all the shows that are pre-built. You can see all the Inception shows that are set up, as well as some for later this week. So I see them all here. That's the current show. I don't want to tap on that one. Here's Inception Stream 2 Mevo. So I tap on that. I can choose my resolution. I'm going to leave it at 720p. Just because I don't want to push the LTE stuff too hard here. It's a public show. Tap on Go Live, and with any luck, okay, I'll be able to see that over there. Go ahead and pull out a little bit here, zoom out of this camera, and with any luck, we are going to see, move that out of the way a little bit, this live momentarily. So now I'm just waiting for it to show up on the live stream. Oh, past due, I guess I have to finish this part. I have to hit the past due button and publish. Publish, there we go. It even pops up a thing. If you're ready for viewers to see your stream, tap publish. Oops. That's nice. It tells you what to do, because you're dingbat like me going, why isn't it live yet? Alrighty. We are waiting. We are waiting. It's spinning. It's getting ready. It's thinking, these things take time. They take time. That's okay. That's okay. One of the points that's difficult about using any of these lower end solutions is starting your show, and we're live up there. Starting the show, getting the timing right on starting is almost impossible to do. If you want to say, I want to start at exactly this moment, you can't. Okay, so that is live. So it is zoomed in automatically on me. Let me go for the wide shot there. So there's our wide shot. Now, the audio that we're doing right now is the Mevo. Yep, so we are listening to audio on the Mevo. So this is what it sounds like on the Mevo. So now we need to do a little synchronizing here. So let's see here. This is how we're doing this. We get this all set up. Ryan, go ahead and zoom in on that. I'm going to point the Mevo at this as well. Let's go ahead and do a nice little tight, close shot up on this. There you go. Okay, so you're ready to go, Ryan. Here we go. So now, again, it's going to hit play on here. If you're watching this not live, take the two videos and scrub them so that they're within a second of each other, and then start playing them each side by side so that you can see them both relatively in sync. All right, that's all there is to that. Excellent. Isn't that kind of a cool way to do this? Hopefully this works. Hopefully this is all gonna work. Okay, it is on auto follow right now, which is, look at this. Okay, so I like moved too fast, it zoomed back out. There it goes, zoom back in on me. So I'm able to see here what's happening. I have full control of the interface on here. I can set up different shots. So I could go, for example, and let's do like a close-up of a device there, and I could save that shot. I could zoom back out, go to the full shot. There's all kinds of really cool options on here. But we've seen all this before. Now we're talking about audio quality. So again, we're listening to audio on the Mevo itself. Definitely not great right now. Let's go ahead and switch this over. So in the Mevo, Ryan, why don't you zoom in on this camera real quick? Show you a little bit more of what you can do here. And I know you're not going to see everything really clearly, but I go into my audio options, and it's currently set to Mevo. I'm going to set it over to iPhone, and now it's just using the built-in microphone on the iPhone, which is obviously, again, not great, but that's why we have, I brought it out here, didn't I? Didn't I bring the other? Oh, for crying out loud. I guess I didn't. I must have left. I mean, did I drop it along the way? Can you find the lav, the smart lav with the? I thought I'm sure that I carried it out here with me. Ryan's going to try and find that for me. Because we do want, Ryan left that camera not wide. Did you find it? Thank you. Set it on the table as well. I just realized that this camera is zoomed in tight and okay. You're zooming out. All right, now we're going to switch this one. So we're going to add this to the iPhone. And so now, it says even on the interface here, it says using the 1/8" mic input. Okay, there is no 1/8" mic input anymore, but that's essentially what it is. So I've got that on there, and now I've got a much better audio quality because I am wired on this. And the cool thing is, now I can put this, wherever I want, and I can go around, and I can walk far away, and my audio quality is going to stay nicely, zoom in on that, stay nice and clean because I've got a good wired mic that is connected to me here, not worrying about the microphone on the Mevo. Okay, so now let's add the boost into this thing. So let's, all I'm gonna do here, we'll zoom in and take this view up here as well so you can see what the boost looks like here. Little home for it there. All I gotta do is slap this on, lock it into place, and that's it. And now I'm on the boost. So now I've got the extra battery power of the boost, which is superb. It automatically switches over to that, and we're good to go. But now let's add the audio on wireless. So let's take rid of this guy. And I'm going to take this and turn this mic on. So these, by the way, are the KNF concept mics. These are part of the ones that I used in that big wireless microphone roundup that performed really, really well and sound really, really good for the money. So I'm really a big fan of these things just because they're so low cost and sound really good. All right, let me plug in the audio here. So plug that thing into the Mevo Boost. Probably should have a better way to hang that on there, but that'll do. And now when I look at the audio settings on here, there's a new option on here. If you can zoom into that at all, you can see it now says USB on there. So now I have, maybe you can kind of barely see that. It says USB on there. Okay, go ahead and zoom back out. This now allows me to switch over to that, and now I'm using the USB microphone. So let's plug this thing into here, make sure that I'm wired up properly, and now I've got a nice wireless lav mic that I'm able to use for the Mevo. So again, hopefully everything's working right. You are able to hear me on the Mevo through this wireless lav. I can't tell because I can't listen to that show at the same time, but that is how that works. So pretty slick, right? So you've got this really nice, simple device. The Mevo is just super cool. I love the Mevo. It's so much fun to play with. Not sponsored by them or anything. This is just a really cool little device. I love taking this thing out on the road for simple, high-quality streams. It gives me a lot more option that I can get just from the iPhone. So 2 thumbs up for that. And then the Boost gives you all these other options like the Ethernet port and the USB audio input, so you can really take it to the next level. Okay, I think that was everything for the Mevo. Yes, I do believe it is. So we are going to shut off the Mevo stream now. Go into the settings here and slide to stop. Are you sure? Complete the live event on YouTube and save to the SD card. This is a nice little feature. The show is being recorded to the internal memory card on the Mevo. The same thing happens on the iPhone when you do a stream from the iPhone just using the YouTube app, but I've had issues with that before. It's been a little bit weird. So I love that there's a secondary backup on the SD card in there. That's great. So I tap on done, and that's that, and we are good to go. Okay, so that was stream 2. Whew. We're going to head into the other room so I can look at comments because I don't have any way to see comments out here, and then we're going to come back out for stage 3 of this. Let me get rid of this and this. I think I can leave that here. I better take the switcher with me, and let's go to the other room. All righty. All right. Oh, what's going on in the chat room here? Anything. Oh my God, look at that. I walk away and some troll has to come in and Ryan, can you please delete that person? Okay, Jake says, so Jake's saying that you get 1080. I've been streaming to Facebook at church in the last couple weeks at 1080 and the highest audio from VidiU. Facebook has been accepting it and the stream actually looks good. How weird. Jake, Jake, you're the one who mentioned that if you put streamer or content producer or something like that in your profile, that it enables it. I did that. I actually haven't gone back to check to see if I suddenly have 1080p. So maybe that's it. Alrighty, and I guess that's it. That's easy. Okay, so that's the Mevo. Now we're ready to move on to the next one. Let's go back to this split, and move on. Next up is the Epiphan Webcaster X2. This has built-in Wi-Fi and Ethernet, so it allows you to get your best possible quality signal. Because it's Wi-Fi, just FYI, that obviously means as well that if you wanted to use LTE, you just create a hotspot from your phone or from a LTE thumb drive modem, whatever those are called, and away you go. So as long as you got Wi-Fi, then you can connect anything to LTE if you've got the hardware for that. And then of course there's Ethernet. You'll see, if you haven't seen it in a moment, it's got a big fat antenna on it for Wi-Fi, so it does get really good reception, which is excellent. I don't think I wrote that on here. No, I didn't write that on here, but the X2 is designed specifically for either Facebook or YouTube. Now they're adding some other cool stuff into that as well, but that's what I've worked with and have experience with on there. So Facebook or YouTube, not simultaneous streaming. This is a very important point. So far, nothing we've done is doing simultaneous streaming. To do that, you have to go all the way up to the top-end system, to the Pearl, but this is one or the other. Really, really easy setup and integration, and this is something that I will be showing at B&H on Thursday from 4 to 6 at B&H in New York. So that's, again, PhotoJoseph.com/BH, so definitely check that thing out if you are interested in the X2 at large. But for now, we're going to set it up. I'm just not going to go into the nitty-gritties. Okay, so the camera I'm going to use today is a Lumix G7. The G7 was chosen because it is the least expensive camera, Lumix camera. Obviously, I'm using the Lumix cameras. For anybody who's watching this who doesn't know, I'm sponsored by Panasonic. Using the G7 is the least expensive Lumix camera that has a microphone input. And you need to have your audio coming in through the camera, or at least you did up until the end of last week. So this is a brand new feature that just got released, and I have not tested it yet, and I'm not about to today. But a brand new feature, it's in beta on the latest firmware update for the X2. You can now send audio in over, we're going to come to that, over USB. So this means that you have two things. It means you could set up a whole mixing board into the X2 if you wanted to. But more importantly, I think, it means that you can take any camera, even if it doesn't have a built-in microphone input, and feed your microphone into the X2 directly. That is really, really cool. So you don't have to have a camera with a microphone input, which only higher-end cameras do. So I love that. I'm super stoked that that feature is there. Again, I haven't tested it. It's brand new. It's in beta. It just came out either Thursday or Friday of last week, so killer on there. The other thing you can do with the X2 is you can have a second camera over USB, and that basically means a webcam, and I've got that set up out there as well. So with the X2, you can now do a dual camera show. It's just that your second camera has to be a bit lower quality, just a USB cam, but it works, and we're going to take a look at that. All right, so we talked about that, and that's that. Okay, any other questions, comments on here? And if not, we're going to run out to the other room. Jake's also saying, interestingly, when playing back not live on Facebook, I only have quality of to 720, even though he sent the live stream at 1080. So Jake, are you sure that your stream is actually playing at 1080 when it's live, or is it just looks good and maybe it's still only playing at 720? Interesting. Okay. Time to go back into the other room. I think this is all I need for this, so let's head on back out of there. Alrighty. Back out to the studio. And so far this is going pretty well. We haven't broken anything too badly yet. Webcaster X2. All right, so quick little overview of this. Once you zoom in over to the hardware pile here, you'll notice there's a lot of cables and wires in here. So this is a very affordable solution. $299, I believe, again, is the price on this. The Webcaster X2, again, a dedicated hardware box for streaming to Facebook or YouTube. But you see I got a whole bunch of stuff plugged into that. Why is all this stuff plugged in? Go ahead and zoom out here. One of the challenges with this is that you don't have a web interface for it, so that means to control it, and the screen, the LCD screen on here really shows you very, very little. To control it, you need to hook up a keyboard. So I've got this flexible little rolling keyboard that I bought so I could have something as portable as possible. You need a mouse, so I bought this itty bitty tiny little mouse on there, so that's my little mouse and keyboard setup. And you need a monitor. Now, I have this really cheap, crappy monitor that I just turned off. It makes this horrendous sound. This really, really crappy, cheap monitor. I've talked about this thing before, but it's a little HDMI monitor. It allows me to see the signal in here, which is good. I mean, you need to be able to see something. It doesn't matter that it's not great. It allows me to do it. If you're an Android user, I've never tested these, but apparently there are devices, a little cabling thing where you can go HDMI into your Android phone and turn your phone into a monitor. that is fantastic because if you've got an Android phone with you, you don't have to carry a monitor. You just, off you go, and you plug that into there with that cable, and you're good. iPhones, you can't do that. The iPhone, the way that the hardware is, it's not designed to allow you to send video into the iPhone. There's a company that says that they've got a product coming. I don't necessarily believe it, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so within the Webcaster interface, we're not going to show all of that. That's something, if you want to see that in detail, we'll be doing on Thursday at B&H. But this is all set up and ready to go. So I've got this now hooked up to my Lumix G7. So simple little camera here, nice, affordable, lightweight. I've got a kit lens on here, nothing special, but it's fine for what we're doing here. And I've got, as I said before, this Comica double-headed mic. Now this thing here, I've talked about this on the show before as well. Obviously, since I have the input on here, I could plug any mic into this. I'm just showing different microphones. I'm not going to unplug, you know what I am. Sorry, Ryan. Sorry, buddy, you're going to have to coil this up later. This is an insanely long cable. But here's the slick thing about this. It's a double-headed mic. So you can do an interview with someone with just this one mic setup. The wire is so long that you can set the camera on the other side of the city and you can shoot. Okay, exaggerating, but it's great. So that's what I'm using here just to keep this as kind of a low-cost solution as possible. So that is hooked up. I now go into the Webcaster and everything should be set up. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit start streaming on here. Now, one of the cool things about the Webcaster interface, I swear to God, the button, I don't even have to touch it, just get close to it and it switches. There we go. The Webcaster interface, go ahead and zoom into that screen real quick here. God. It changes modes just by blinking at it. This is not the X2, this is just this really crappy monitor that I have. Oh, come on, there we go. One more switch. It's like it switches if you look at it, but not if you touch it. Maybe that's it. It's kind of this magic thing that I have to get used to. Okay, so there you go. If you zoom into that, you should see, yeah, there we go. You can see the comments on there. So you get to see the comment feed coming by, which is really, really, look at it, switched again, which is really, really cool. Now, we should be, the window is hidden. I can't see it. Ryan, can you run over there and fix the window so I can see? I think we're live on here. Ryan is going to tell me momentarily. He's going to run over there and set up that monitor. There we go. So now I'm streaming live. In theory, I see something wiggling behind there, so I'm going to assume that means it's live. Yes, I am live. So now I'm streaming live via the X2 using the Lumix G7. So now let's go ahead and get the timing set up again. Get my clock back in here. Go ahead and zoom in on that. Let me set up the clock over here. And Brian's ready, I'm ready, here we go. So there's your countdown clock. Again, if you're wondering what the heck you're supposed to be doing here, scrub the 2 videos. So this is now video 3. Or is this 3? Are we on 3? We're on 3. This is 3, the X2 video. And all you had to do there was get those 2 videos reasonably in sync with each other, and we're good to go. So that's actually not that much to show here. Really straightforward. Oh, I probably should actually put the microphone on me. There we go, so you can hear it. So I'm just going to take one of them. So if we wanted to, here we go. Hey, Ryan, why don't you come over here? We'll just do this real quick. I'm going to get a nice wide shot on there. Try not to kill yourself. So now we can do this thing. You just clip it on yourself real quick there. We can do this thing where we can be on camera together. There we go. There we go. See, look at that camera. See, that's what we're talking to now. So now we're on camera together. Don't forget, don't look at the picture of you. Look at the camera. See, this is, again, here's the thing. It's really easy to go, I'm going to look at the picture of me because I want to make sure. No, look at the camera. That's why Casey wears the sunglasses. So this is good. So say something.
Something.
Perfect. That's all we needed. So you can see he's wired in, I'm wired in. We've got good sound all the way through. We can see our meters. See, Ryan can see that. We can see our audio meters. We know that we've got good quality audio. And that's essentially all there is to it. I can plug any USB camera, any HDMI camera into the X2, and off we go. All right, you're excused. Now, the other thing that we can do here, how did you do that? The other thing that we can do on here that's really cool is the second camera. So I've got now a little USB webcam on here. This is just a Logitech USB webcam. This is plugged into the X2 as well. And now if I can remember the keyboard shortcuts here, I can easily switch between them. Is it, which screen to look at here anymore? Why is this telling me no signal? God, this monitor is a piece of junk. I've got to find a better solution than this crappy monitor here. I think, there we go. I hit the space bar. Yep, nope, that's not it. Space bar's not it. Tab, I don't remember now. Oh, there we go. Yeah, tab was it. tab with switching monitor. So now I was switching between the two. So there's the Lumix camera, and then I can tab that over and switch over to the Logitech camera, to the little USB cam. You can do picture-in-picture. You can do all kinds of cool things there, which is a really slick way to go about setting that thing up. So that's nice. That's a fun thing to be able to do. So again, this gives you the ability to go live to either Facebook or YouTube very easily with this hardware. You get a hardware encoder, you get a really good quality stream, and Wi-Fi or Ethernet, and away you go. Okay, that's that one. I'm going to go ahead and cut this stream off now. And again, we're going to be talking about this guy a lot more when I get out to B&H on Thursday. So that is the X2. Okay, let's head back into the other room to do comment and Wirecast. Wirecast is going to be in the other room. Let's go. I cannot believe this show that I put together. I don't know why I did something this crazy. Clearly, glutton for punishment. Alrighty, let's see here. What's going on in the comments? Trevor says he used Duet for the Mac. Yeah, the Apogee Duet's great audio interface hardware for sure. Let's split to the comments here. And Euro Victor says that monitor has the sounds of quality. It's like not even $50. This is such a piece of junk. You can't see it unless you're straight onto it, but it's better than nothing. So it is what it is. Sharback says I'm doing 7 live streams at the same time. What are you gonna do? Why not? Okay, Marco's enjoying the show. Well, excellent. I'm glad Marco's enjoying the show. Okay, let's move on now to the next solution here. Again, if you have questions, comments, you know what to do. Throw them up there. Hit the @PhotoJoseph in front of it, and we will address them. All right, back to this. All right, next up is Wirecast or OBS, or really what this means is anything based off of the computer. So far we've been talking about what's essentially dedicated hardware streaming. We have the phone to start with, which is no longer here. We have the phone. Went to the Mevo, which is a camera and streaming solution all in one. So the phone is a camera and streaming solution all in one as well. Went to the X2, which is a dedicated piece of hardware for streaming. Now we're going up to Wirecast. Now, again, Wirecast OBS, Open Broadcasting System, does essentially the same thing. There's other solutions out there. Wirecast is probably the most widely known. Wirecast allows you to use whatever your computer has access to. So whether you got Ethernet, you've got Wi-Fi, if you want to set up a USB modem, whatever. It's using the internet connection of your computer. We are going to be using this with, well, you can use this with an AVIO, basically anything that converts video into a computer signal. So I'm going to be using this, the AV.io. Let's get a nice close-up. Let me unplug this so you can see it better. Get a close-up of this thing here. This is so USB on one end, it's HDMI on the other. It's actually DVI, and it comes with this little HDMI plug. I think the newer ones are native HDMI in there. This one's a little bit older. This one's the HD model. They also make a 4K model. So if you are doing if you need to convert 4K into your computer, not just for live streaming, but for anything, they make a 4K model. So this is just a USB device, plugs in. You also have things from Blackmagic. They have the mini converter. The mini converter will allow you to convert SDI or HDMI into Thunderbolt. So there's that option as well, and away you go. Now, there's a lot of advantages and simultaneously limitations to using Wirecast or any software solution. Advantages are things like lower thirds, titles, picture-in-picture. All these things are really easy to set up, and it's nice because you have a proper computer interface. You can drag things around, you can type in text, whatever you want. It's super easy to build these complex layouts. The problem is reliability. Now, we've got, okay, we'll come back to that. The problem here is reliability. I've been using Wirecast on and off for years, and I have had, see all this gray? That's why. I tell my kids it's their fault, but the truth is it's Wirecast. You'd spend all this time building a really complex scene, and then everything just goes to hell and usually happens about 30 seconds before you go live. Now, they have made significant improvements and updates to it, but I kind of got bit too hard. And then by the time I moved past it, I moved into hardware solutions, hardware switching, and so on. It was like, well, there's no point in going back to it. Apparently, it has gotten a lot better. Now, I was using Wirecast up until very recently when I started using the Pearl-2 for my hardware. I was using Wirecast, but just to encode and stream. Not doing any of the switching there. Actually, it's not true. We did that little Foursquare that came up at the end of the shows. That was handled through Wirecast, but that was it. All the other switching is done through hardware, just because too much unreliability for me. If you were going to keep it simple, though, I think it works great. Even though it has the ability to go really complex, I can't recommend it. I've had too many problems with it. Now, part of the reason is, do this one here, wait, no, that way, there we go. The problem is that you've got, your switching, encoding, and streaming is all being handled on one device. So you really need a hell of a machine. Like if you have a Mac Pro and with a bajillion gigs of RAM and it's all mega power, then maybe it'll work out better. I tried doing it on a 5K iMac, tried doing it on a laptop. Once you get a couple of streams going at once, the whole thing just goes, oh, CPU overload, and it basically shuts down. If you are using a device like this to bring your camera in, a USB device, you're going to hit bandwidth limitations of USB, right? So you're not going to be able to pump 5 cameras into it over USB. You can then use Thunderbolt instead, because Thunderbolt, each port has its own channel, its own dedicated channel, so you can get a lot more cameras in over Thunderbolt. The problem is that unless you have a Mac Pro, you're limited to 2 Thunderbolt ports. And for some reason that I've yet to understand, there's no Thunderbolt bridges. What do you call them? Like, plug multiple Thunderbolt things in. Even if because Thunderbolt's got a really big wide pipe, you should be able to plug in multiple cameras in a single port, but for some reason, no one seems to make one of those. There's got to be a good reason for it, because no one makes one. Anyway, if you've got a Mac Pro and you can bring in a bunch of cameras over Thunderbolt converters, then you're probably going to be better off. If you're trying to bring in too many over USB, you're going to choke out your computer. It's not going to work. But again, you do have the ability to do easy picture-in-picture, lower thirds, and so on. So let's take a little look at what we can do in here, and then we're going to actually fire it up. So let me bring up Wirecast, bring up a simple little layout that I did earlier today. Let me go full screen on this and switch over to this. Okay, so now this is not going to be in sync, but we are looking at my webcam. So you can use the webcam as an input device. And this is really easy to set up. All right, so let me just delete this here. Let me delete this source, and I'll show you how easy it is. So I go in here and I go add source, click on this, and oh, it's funny, it's still showing up on the live. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. There on the live. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to go in here and I hit the little plus, and it says capture devices, and I see built-in FaceTime camera. So I select that, and boom, there it is. There's my built-in FaceTime camera, and that's it. It's in. I can go in and I can resize it, reposition it, and so on. Here's the sizing ones here. I can fill the screen with that if I want to. So I think that this front-facing camera must only be picking up a 720p signal, and I've set it to broadcast 1080, so we're getting a little bit of, if it's 100%, it's a little bit smaller. But obviously we can bring in a better device, right? We can bring in a better camera. So let's do that. Let's take the AVIO. I think I need a bigger cable. And plug this guy into here. And I'm going to take a G5 on a very, very long HDMI cable. What are you going to do? And turn this thing on. And this camera I've already set up to 1080p 30, so I'm not going to try and overdrive this system here. 1080p 30 is what's coming out of the GH5. And let me turn this around this way so it's actually pointing at me. I don't know why anybody would want to see that, but we're going to. And let's switch back to the computer, and I'm going to add this device. So again, this camera you're looking at right here is the webcam. I go down here and I hit plus, capture device, and there it sees it right away, HDMI video. So we choose that. We could bring in our audio off of this as well. And with any luck, no, we're not seeing anything. Why are we not seeing anything? Excellent. This is one of the reasons Wirecast drives me nuts, because stuff like this happens all the time. Let me just do a quick little, maybe because I plugged it in, let me just quit Wirecast, relaunch it. We're going to give it the benefit of the doubt. That's probably what happened, right? Because I plugged it in, because I plugged it in while it was on. All right, bring this up. I do not want a newer version of Wirecast. I want the show that I just created. No, don't save that one. You get out of the way. Where is the show that I created? There it is. Switching back. Come on. Come on. There it is. Excellent. All right, so now we've got it. So there's the AV.io. So that's the GH5 that you're looking at right there. So now I've got, so there's that camera. So I've got multiple cameras here. I've got my webcam. I've got my GH5 hooked up to that. And you can see already I've got things like this title in here. So this is all something that I've added. You just go in here and plus, and you can add, look at all the stuff you can add. Screen captures, you can add your computer's own screen if you wanted to. Obviously you want to have secondary screens if you're doing that, but you can do that. I can add in colors, text, slideshows. I can even bring in a remote presenter, someone on the same network, they can come in over another computer, it's basically an IP camera, and connect into Wirecast. Pretty cool, right? There's a lot of really neat things you can do in here. Titles, I can go in here and add a new title. You see there's all these crazy title presets in here. Some really nice ones, a lot of cheesy ones, but they got their own in here. And of course, you can build your own as well. You can just build whatever you want. Then what's neat here is when you go to do the show, so let's go, let me just hide this, make this a little bit bigger. So what that is on the right there, but this on the left is the preview. So I go, okay, what's the next shot? The next shot is going to be a picture-in-picture. I set that all up, and then I click go, and it takes that over to the live show and so on. So now let's go ahead and actually do this live show. Ryan, you've got another troll. Let's actually take this live. So I'm going to set up this Wirecast. Okay, let's go back over to here to the Mac. If I open up the streaming settings, here's one thing that's kind of cool. If I click on add on here, I can add in any of these streaming solutions, including YouTube, of course. The problem is if I add YouTube, so the idea is you add YouTube and then it shows you all your live shows that are ready to go. Maybe 6 months ago or something, it stopped working. And I talked to Wirecast, and what they determined was that for whatever reason, and they might have fixed this since then, but I haven't tried, for whatever reason, they are pulling the entire list of not only the live shows that are scheduled, but all the live shows you've ever done. And that list has gotten so big that the software was choking on it. So I can no longer use the software's built-in ability to look at upcoming live shows. It just didn't work anymore. So a little tip there, if you're using Wirecast, if you do a lot of live shows and one day it just stops showing you your shows, that's why. So what I have to do instead is set up as a manual thing, which is really easy to do. It's not a big deal. But I go in here and I set it up as an RTMP server, and then there's my show and the key for the show that's about to go live. And the way you do that, just incidentally, if you've never seen this before, let's go into Chrome. I'm going to open up my scheduled shows on here. Looks like hey Ryan, looks like the Inception Stream 3 is still active if you want to kill that. Let's go switch over to upcoming shows and Wirecast. Here's the one. So if I go into edit on here and then switch over to ingestion settings, it shows me the key. So there's the key that I need. So let's make sure I got the right one, the stream name, go to Wirecast, and that is in fact already in place. Click OK, and let's start streaming. So now we're starting to stream over in Wirecast. Now, this is not going to immediately show up live because I have the ability to pre-roll the show effectively, start seeing the show streaming over on YouTube so that I can make sure that everything's working, check my audio and video quality, and then take it live. This is a really nice advantage of working this way. So let's go ahead let's go back to the Mac. I'm going to switch over to Chrome here, and if I go to this show and I go to the live control room, we should see stream status right here. I'm just waiting for that to update. Stream health is good. I click on preview on here. It says, are you sure you want to preview? And I have to wait for this to say it's done preview. It's prepping the live stream for preview. Wait a moment. We're just waiting for this to be all ready here. And it's almost ready. This is the fun part of this. Okay, that is ready to go. So now that is set up. I can preview the stream here. So this is the big advantage of this. I can go in and I can preview it. I can make sure it looks good, sounds good, everything's right. I don't know why the secondary camera stopped working. That's interesting. Huh. Not that one. Weird. Well, look at that. See? This is what I'm talking about. Things go weird. Let's delete the shot. Seems like I got a duplicate in here. I have no idea why. Well, go figure. Anyway, let's take it live anyway, because that's what we do. So let's take this show live. We're ready to go. Hit start streaming. And now, for those of you who are watching the secondary live stream, you should be seeing it over there. It should be showing up momentarily if it's not already there. So now I need to get the clock timer thing going again. Ryan, can you grab that the MacBook Air that I brought over to the other table? I forgot that I can't run the clock on this machine and show it from this machine at the same time. So I need my MacBook Air that has the video on it as well. In the meantime, I'm going to figure out why this stopped working. Let's see if we can figure this out. Let's just delete that source, delete the shot, and add it in again. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Let's go. Okay, there's that. Let me add this shot. Capture device. The AVIO. It's thinking. It's added. And it has decided not to show the video on that. Excellent. Well, that's a bit of a bummer. let's turn the camera off and back on, make sure it's not something on that end. We should be streaming over on the AVIO side. Oh, audio. So I have not yet set up audio on Wirecast, so we need to do that. I just don't know why. All right, well, I'm just gonna put my lower third on there with the webcam because I don't know why I'm not getting the other camera coming through right now. We're not gonna worry about that, but I do need to add audio, so we're going to add audio. I'll show you what you're looking at here so you can see it. Go into this system and built-in microphone audio. We need that, so now we've got audio. So now the live show, you can hear me. At least you should be able to. Take that live, and there we go. So now you can hear me on the live show as well. Now we're just using the built-in microphone on the Wirecast system, so definitely not a good solution. But for some reason, it's not seeing my I/O. Oh yeah. All right, let's do this thing with the camera. So let's get this up here. Let's do this. So we got both these are in view, and here we go. So now once again, you're using this video to synchronize your two feeds so that you can play them back side by side in sync. Yeah, people telling me no audio, but the audio is on there now. Okay, so that's that. Hopefully that worked out for everybody. And in case you're wondering, yes, it is 24 frames per second. That's why you see a 24 frame per second clock on there. All right. Confirm for me, please, those watching live, that you are actually getting live audio on the Wirecast system right now. You're also hearing the computer fan kick in. In the meantime, I'm really trying to figure out why my camera's not working on there. So let me just, because I'm here and because I can, we're going to just try this out. Plug that in, reset it, resync it, see if that gets that camera moving. It is not getting that camera moving. Well, this should be working. Without a doubt, this should be working, but it is definitely giving us grief. I've just replugged the AVIO, and we'll see if that shows up. Still not showing up. I'm going to delete the hardware so you can see what's going on over here. Let's take a look at this. I'm going to delete the shot now, add it again, and let's see what happens, see if it comes up, and there it is, and no, nothing. You just never know. This is why I'm not a fan of doing this over Wirecast. And listen to the computer. Listen to that thing go. It is cranking. Yeah, no good, no good. Okay, so yeah, again, not my favorite solution. I know a lot of people use it well, and let's just see what other people are saying about it. I'm going to leave this running. I know we're just going to leave that running. You can barely hear it, I'm sure. Let's look at the comment split here. Daddy MCC is saying, I use Wirecast for an event switching between two cameras. I've never had any luck with long HDMI cables. I use Blackmagic HDMI to SDI converters, very reliable. Rather use HDMI, NVDAs, or keep doing it. You would Blackmagic HDMI to SDI converters. Oh, I would say, I don't know why you'd say you'd rather use HDMI. Honestly, SDI is so much more reliable. I would continue the way you're doing it. Convert your HDMI into SDI, and then you can run really long runs and not have to worry about it. That's definitely what I would say to do. And yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe this cable's, no, I've used this cable before. It's not too long. I don't know what's going on there. Sharbeck says, your main feed seems to have just perfectly tuned white balance and sound compared to the other streams. Well, okay, so to be fair, this stream, he's talking about how good this one looks and sounds. We have put an immense amount of time into calibrating this. And if you just go back, if you scroll back months and even back in the last year on this show, the image quality and sound quality has changed dramatically. We've just really been fine-tuning it. And once I finally figured out how to properly white balance this, not white balance, just completely color balance this camera, I love the way the setup looks right now. But I also know that if I change anything, it's gonna be a lot of work to get it calibrated again. The audio is running through the Behringer XR. We're gonna talk about all this tomorrow. Really good audio quality now, really good mixer, really good EQs. Yeah, it took a lot, but it does look and sound great. All the other things, keeping in mind that I haven't done really much setup. I just plugged a camera in and hit go. So obviously from the iPhone and the Mevo, you're going to be limited on what kind of quality you're getting. You go up to the X2, and now you're just limited by whatever you're plugging into it. I had the G7 plugged into that with those wired mics. The G7 was not in the position that would be the best position for that stream, right? Because it was kind of pointing into the lights, so it doesn't look its best there. It's more about the capabilities of it. This, obviously, we're having all kinds of weird problems here with Wirecast, but that's what Wirecast does. Andrew Small says, Andrew says, oop, wrong one, says, have exactly the same issues with Wirecast 8. Buggy, frustrating, now just using to encode and stream from the ATEM. There you go, Andrew. That's what I ended up doing. But of course now I've moved beyond Wirecast for the stream and we're using the Pearl for that. Such a pain. Okay. Anything else in there? Okay, let's do... Trevor saying audio through Wirecast is really thin. That is because the audio coming into Wirecast is just the built-in microphone on the laptop, because for whatever reason, it has chosen to use this moment to not recognize the AV.io, even though it worked perfectly this morning. I'm not bitter or anything. So you're just listening to me on this view. This is literally the webcam on my MacBook Pro, and you're listening to the microphone on my MacBook Pro, as well as the fans spinning out of control on my MacBook Pro. And on that note, I'm going to shut off that stream. All right, let's quit that. Quit Wirecast, don't save, what's the point? And away that goes. Okay. Ryan, you can go ahead and kill the rest of that Wirecast stream if it hasn't died on your end automatically. Last one. World's longest show? Possibly. Okay. We're going to head out to the other room. Any other comments here? Trevor says, I got to be honest, the device I've been most impressed with so far is that little Mevo. It's what I'd start with personally. The Mevo is fantastic. It really is. It doesn't do well in low light, but if you've got good lighting, if that setup of the super wide 4K camera and then punching in to do 1080p punches works for you, I think it's brilliant. I love it. And it's so tiny. It's a really, really good solution. If you hit the road and you want to do good quality streaming on the road with as little stuff as possible, your smartphone and a Mevo and a microphone to plug into your phone, and you're good, man. You are good to go. Charbeck says, Joseph, what do you think about Google Hangouts for live shows and multi-camera? Google Hangouts, so YouTube Live, what we're doing right now on this feed, is the same thing as Google Hangouts. This is just the advanced version of it. If you just go automatic, then it becomes Google Hangouts. It certainly is cool and fun, but I've had quality issues there. I've had reliability issues. I've had issues where they change features constantly, and as soon as you figure out how to use something, it changes on you. It's not a reliable system for doing a live show. If I had to do this show live every day through Google Hangouts, I'd go insane. I can, right? I can take all of this and pipe it into Google Hangouts. I've done that before. But no, I would rather, I mean, if you're going to do interaction with people, then sure, that's a perfectly good way to do it. The way that I usually do interactions here is I do a Skype call in, and I've got another system, there's a Skype system that pipes into this whole switching, and we're going to talk about some of that tomorrow. But, you know, it works. It obviously works, and it's easy, but the quality is not quite there, I don't think. My experience. Whoa, man, we got some nasty people in the chat today. Okay, let's move on to the next system, right? Yep. All right, now we're heading out to the other room again. Do I need any of this? I don't think so. I just need this and this. And let's go back out to the studio camera. Now we're doing the last big piece of this. Come on over, Ryan. I know, right? I won't put up the comments. The chat room is being particularly obnoxious today. There's some really fun people out there. For those of you who are in the chat, I think you have the ability to mark someone as spam. If you see something, just hit it as quickly as you can for me. Ryan is off that system right now, but I'm also not going to put those chats on screen until Ryan has a chance to get back over there and make sure that there's nobody misbehaving. Okay, last piece is this. So now we work with one of my favorite devices, yet simultaneously equally frustrating. So I'm going to start turning this on, I'll talk about this. So here's, what we're going to work with next is the VidiU Pro, which is a really, really cool piece of hardware. Why don't you zoom into this thing real tight here so they can see this guy. The VidiU Pro is a dedicated streaming device, very small. This is the entirety of it right here. In fact, here, I can just take this off here so you can see a little bit better. This is the entirety of it. You got a good shot of, there we go. Yeah, that's a good close-up shot of that. That's it. This thing is remarkable in the sense that it will encode and stream anything you plug into it over HDMI. So you can take a single camera, you can take an entire switching system. I've done this big show using this thing before. It has built-in Ethernet, built-in Wi-Fi, and built-in USB port to power a USB modem, which is what we're using right here. You can control the entire thing from an app on your smartphone. You can choose any resolution up to 1080p, so you can scale it down, you can bring it up to 1080 if you want. It has a built-in SD card for simultaneous recording. It's $1,000. It is not cheap, but worth it for what it is. But here's the caveat. I have had almost as many issues with this as I've had with Wirecast. I think what happens here is we're in this kind of middle space. All right, you start with the iPhone, just using the iPhone, works every time. Go to the Mevo. Where'd my Mevo go? Go to the Mevo. Works every time. Flawless. Low cost, reasonable quality, rock solid. Wirecast. Middle cost, quality should be very good, pain in the ass. The Teradek VidiU Pro. I want this to work all the time. This would be my favorite thing ever if it worked, but I had for the longest time I had problems with Wi-Fi on this thing. Teradek finally recognized that that was the problem. They swapped the unit out or repaired it. I think they swapped it out. I think it was a whole new unit. And it was working great. And then it's not. I can have it work perfectly reliably. I can have it completely decide not to work. I go to connect to it over my my iPhone app, and it works perfectly. 5 minutes later, I can't even see the stupid device on the iPhone. It's been a very, very frustrating experience. And I know that this is kind of the lower end of the hardware that Teradek makes. They make some really high-end stuff, and maybe the really high-end stuff is a bit more reliable, but unfortunately I've had so many problems with it. It's a really frustrating thing. So I think it's one of those where if you think that this is the solution for you, buy one, make sure you got a good 30-day return policy, put it through the paces. If it works the way you want it to work, then great. But if not, then I told you so. Okay, but one of the cool things about it, other than all the hardware bits and inputs and encoding and everything that it does, is, oh, and by the way, this will encode to any platform you want. It has built-in for Facebook and YouTube and Stitch or Switch or Twitch, or what's that gaming one? The Twitch, I knew there's an itch in there somewhere. And also RTMP, so you can basically program it to anything, which is really, really cool. It has a built-in battery. So it was on the charger, I've unplugged that, which means this whole thing is now wireless. Wireless, which is really great. So I've now rigged this thing up on this ridiculous setup that I showed you guys last week, where I have my GH5, I've got my Ninja Inferno on top. I've got this set up now so it's forward-facing, so that I can see everything. It says it's ready to go, so I am going to start the stream. And I'm going to do this on the hardware because I figured that if I try to connect on the phone, it's probably not going to work. So let me just unplug this thing so I can actually get to the button. I've got this all turned around so that I can see it facing forward, but it says ready. I hit ready, start broadcast, yes, and I can from here choose to go to a preview or straight to live. I'm going to go ahead and go straight to live. I hit that, and this, by the way, is now using the 4G modem on here because the Wi-Fi is just not reliable enough. And I didn't want to do this one on Ethernet, which Ethernet always works, but that's not how I want to do the show. Okay, according to this device, I am live. It's not showing up over there yet, so we'll give that a moment. But we should be seeing that over there soon. Oh, I think I need to turn the microphone on as well. There we go. Let's get the mic on. And excellent, it's on. We are live. We are good to go on there. So let's talk about this solution a little bit. Well, actually, let's do our little syncing thing first. All right, get this back to 0. Here, let's do it this way. I'm gonna turn this here. Okay, you can see that. Can you see that? Everybody's in, everybody's on camera. Good, here we go. Our little clock there, so you can get the two cameras synced. Excellent, get the two streams all synced up. We're good to go. So on this one, now with the GH5 and the Wirecast solution, because I've got this huge screen on top of it, now you've really got the issue of, let me raise this up a little bit here. Now I've really got the issue of, I keep looking at the monitor, I'm looking at my monitor up there, but that's obviously not right. I need to look at you. But I have this great confidence monitor. I can look up there and I can see exactly what's happening in there. But of course, what's really, really fun and powerful about this is that it's completely mobile. So let's do that. Actually here, Ryan, why don't you point at this thing? I know you probably already are. And I've got this set up right now as kind of a, whoops, let me grab the right handle here. Here we go. Come here, you. There we go. I've got this set up so that I can be on it and I can see what's happening on there and I can see the screen on there. I could obviously turn all of this around so that it's more like if I'm going to be carrying this around. So let's actually do that. I'm going to reverse all of this, which is, I don't know if this is a really good idea or not, but we're going to do it anyway. To reverse it, I am going to take off the streaming hardware because I want to be able to just hang that down there delicately, hopefully it doesn't fall off, because I want to be able to have that facing me as well. Let me turn this guy around, loosen that up a little bit. This is on the small rig cage, by the way. I did a show on this last week. If you're curious about this cage, I'm really digging it. Really, really nice device. So this is pretty slick, allowing me to do all of this. Get that on there, tighten that down. Let's mount this back on facing forward so I can keep an eye on the stream quality. And there we go. And now, take that off, and here we go. So now I am fully mobile in here. So I can go around, I can focus in on Ryan, I can take this thing around anywhere, I can show you the rest of the studio. Look, there's my local confidence monitor here. Why don't you follow me? So local confidence monitor there, look, there's me, there's back to Ryan. I think this is really neat that I can do this. I can go anywhere because it is a fully wireless solution. God, my studio is a disaster. We can go in and see the other room if you want to see what that looks like. So let's go into here, you can see the setup in there. That's where you're normally seeing me. Right, so you have this really cool portable solution on here that I think is really, really neat. I love this thing. So that's a pretty obnoxiously big and powerful way to go live, but it works. It's awesome when it works. When it works. So that's kind of my top end solution that we're going to go through today. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing off because I think we're done with this one now. Let me just turn this guy off. And obviously at this point, you know, since like I said, it is a HDMI input, I can plug anything into this. And the same thing goes for the Webcaster, right? Technically, I could take my entire ATEM switching system and plug it into the Webcaster. That would work as well. The quality, and well, you guys have just seen the two. You'll have to tell me what the quality difference is between the two. The Webcaster is less than a third of the price, though, so it's a huge, huge difference there. But the Webcaster also is not portable. You do need other things plugged into it to be able to set it up. This is completely self-contained. The interface on the front of this thing, as much as it's two little joysticks, you can actually control everything, even entering in Wi-Fi passwords. Because the app is so unreliable, that is how I usually use it. So, you know, you've got pluses and minuses there, but it's a really, when it works, it's an awesome solution. It's just like I said, we're in that kind of middle range where you feel like sometimes like you just got to spend a lot more money to make it work really well. And that, of course, is what we've got for the rest of the system, which is what we'll be talking about tomorrow. Okay, let's take this into the other room, wrap this thing up, see if there's any last questions. Why don't you go ahead over there and hit those comments and make sure there's nothing nasty up there you need to get rid of. You already got it. Excellent. Oh, look at that. Ryan's taking control. Okay. Oops, let's get the right slides up here. There we go. Oh, I forgot to do the slides on this. Sorry. Anyway, so this is what we just did. Teradek VidiU Pro, the GH5, anything with HDMI. So we didn't miss much on there. Okay. Whew. Wow. Okay, let me see what's going on in the comments here, and we're going to wrap this thing up. And anything needed? Let's see, where were we? Sharback, so we already asked that. Oh, God. Daddy MCC says, do you see yourself ever using video live instead of YouTube? I don't know what you mean, Daddy MCC. Video. Oh, Vimeo, sorry. Vimeo, no. You see how expensive that is? Man, that's expensive to do the Vimeo live, so no. All right, let's see here. I'm going to scroll past anything that doesn't have my name on it. Trevor says, your studio needs more wires, right? It hardly has any. How do you keep from killing yourself in there? Most of the wires are suspended. They're out of the way. Yeah, that's the way we do it. The VidiU is $1,000 for someone who asked about that. Andrew says, Ryan Green, kudos on today's show. The cable logistics alone make my head hurt. Yeah, you haven't seen, you've barely seen anything. The cables in this room alone are insane. But there you go. Okay. I think that's it. We didn't break anything. It actually all worked, didn't it? I can't believe this actually worked today. This was kind of insane, but everything came together and worked. I'm stoked. I'm very happy about that. Except for the, oh yeah, well, almost everything worked. Yeah, but see, it just proved the point for me. Now, I think the AVIO is working. It's Wirecast. It's the same, proved the point for me. Wirecast is just, maybe it's the hardware, maybe it's the software, I don't know. But it's a headache waiting to happen. That was a lot of fun. Hey, everybody, you got questions about it, you know what to do. Stick them in the comments down below. We will address them as much as possible. Tomorrow's show, once again, is going to be about this main show solution, how I'm doing this. I will walk through, I'm not going to go into like super nitty gritty of the lights and everything, but I will talk about the streaming itself, the switching and so on, just so you can get an overview of how all that works, the audio and so on. It should be a lot of fun. As before, let me see if anything else I want to pull up in here. Don't forget, super important, going to be at B&H in just a couple of days. Just in a couple of days, going to be at B&H, December 7th from 4 to 6 p.m. Go to photojoseph.com/BH to check that out. Trevor is saying, I thought you weren't on Tuesday anymore. That is correct, but I am going to be on this Tuesday, tomorrow, because Wednesday I get on a plane and fly to New York to do the B&H thing. So this week's shows are this show right now, Tuesday morning show, and then Thursday afternoon from B&H, just not really a photo moment, but I am going to be live, just not on my own channel. You have to go to B&H to see that. So again, photojoseph.com/BH. That will allow you to register for the show, and then you can watch it live. And I'm sure I'll do a live show from New York somewhere in there. But like Friday morning, normal live time, I'm going to be in the air again. Wednesday morning, live time, I'm going to be in the air. So I can't do shows on Wednesday and Friday at my normal time this week, unfortunately. But we'll do something while we're out there. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. What a show. Thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. Let's wrap this thing up. This has been a lot of fun. Ryan, are you ready out there to do the... It's already going. Well, look at that. He's already done the switch. I guess in that case, we just wrap this thing up and get out of here. Let me get the right title screen on here, and we are going to call it a day. See y'all later, folks. Take care. Bye-bye.